You're watching Cars.tv.
Hi, this is Chuck Reagan. Welcome to the Mullin Automotive Museum in Oxnard, California. Generally, when they walk into this building, they're shocked. They're surprised by their first view as the first floor, which has been recreated as a Paris auto salon. So they see some of the most luxurious cars in the world. They see the decor, the banners of top coach builders, Coissiers and French, and of chassis builders. They're seeing some of the most luxurious cars in the world. Delahaye's, Delages, Bugattis, Voisin, Hispano-Suiza, all cars that are extremely rare, all cars that were the luxurious cars of the time, where people like H.G. Wells, Josephine Baker, Rudolph Valentino bought these type of cars. So the first ones you see are not the ones that everyday people necessarily would buy. They were bespoke cars, meaning they were built by a chassis builder and then the appropriate body built by a Coissier or coach builder. As we move through the museum, we see what I like to call the ultimate barn find, the Schlump collection, where it was a group of 62 cars, 30 which were French that Mr. Mullin purchased, that had luckily 17 Bugattis in the collection. They were part of a group of cars that the Schlump brothers had put together for their museum, never got to put them into the museum where economic issues caused the Schlump brothers to escape to Switzerland. But as we go past what I like to call the ultimate barn find, we go to the Lady at the Lake, which is a Bugatti Brescia that's been in Lake Maggiore on the border of Switzerland and Italy for over 70 years. That's here unrestored. We move upstairs into the 24-hour of Le Mans, the Grand Prix cars. A tremendous display of past winners, as well as those cars that participated in Grand Prix racing, and of course cars that we still use today. Cars that race at Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca, pretty amazing collection. The last part that our guests see is the Bugatti Club, where they're treated to the works of Carlo Bugatti, Ettore Bugatti's dad, who was an incredible metal worker and who taught Rembrandt Bugatti and Ettore Bugatti, his sons, how to cast metals. We have Bugatti bronzes in the Bugatti collection. So you see a little bit of everything, Art Deco at its best, and some of the best cars in the world. I'm standing in front of a portion of the Schlump Reserve collection. Hans and Fritz Schlump were French entrepreneurs who were in the textile industry. They also loved cars, and they amassed an incredible collection of cars, most of which are now part of the French National Museum, City of the Automobile in Mulhouse, France. There was another group of cars, though, that were in an off-site location that was called the Reserve Collection. And through a lot of different legal ramifications, it ended up when the Schlump brothers had passed away and the widow Arlette Schlump's estate was settled, Mr. Mullin had the opportunity to buy the Reserve Collection. 62 cars at the time, so the French cars were his focus, and the good news were 17 of those cars were Bugattis. So we're looking at a group of Bugattis. The three at the end is a De Dion Bouton, which is a very interesting car at the far end, but next to those are three Type 57 Bugattis, which are the best of the best as far as Bugatti. These will not be restored, as far as I know, because Mr. Mullin is trying to save this as for posterity as they are. This is a Bugatti Brescia that found its way in the hands of a Swiss national who won it in a poker game in Paris. He drove it back on his way to Switzerland, went through France, drove through Italy, got up to Lake Maggiore, which is part in Italy, part in Switzerland, until he found out that the Swiss border guard said, you own the car, you owe us money. So you need to registration, value added, a whole bunch of fees. Gentleman said he didn't have the money. They said, no problem. We'll put the car into quarantine until you come back with the fees. Evidently, the gentleman never came back, so by Swiss law, they had to destroy the car. The story goes, the border guards knew it was a race car. They were pretty sure it was owned by René Dreyfus originally, and they hated the idea of dumping a Bugatti into Lake Maggiore, 175 some odd feet. So they used chains, hung it in the lake, easy way to get rid of a large object in case they wanted to come back later. The chains broke, car went down 175 feet. I think it landed on the crank and flopped over into the silt, where it stayed for over 75 years, until the Mullin Museum was able to acquire it, and now it's on permanent display here at the museum.